Hey there, gun people, survivalists, preppers, whatever. I'm gonna do a turn this around so I can make sure I'm in camera. I'm gonna do a video on your war and batons here next, but somebody asked me to cover domestic violence. So, I'll talk about domestic violence a little bit. DV is one of those things for cops that it's I mean, a lot of cops get into cop business because they want to help people, they want to feel like they're contributing, you know, stop bullies, to protect people who can't protect themselves. But with domestic violence, it's a I don't know, it's a double-edged sword. Because over time, as you see as you're a cop, over time, you go to the same calls, the same people, you watch them get back, you watch women, and women are mainly the most, I guess, not dangerous, but more severe cases of domestic violence. I think just as many women hit guys as guys hit women, if not more women hit guys. Because it's acceptable, it's okay, it's equal, it's, you know, you can't hit me back. Whatever the reason, I think there's probably more women that hit guys than guys that hit women. But guys don't report it, guys don't file a restraining order, guys don't go to the hospital. I mean, you know, women don't do as much damage because they're usually not as strong as the guy. So just domestic violence, most people think poor victim woman. And a lot of times that's what domestic violence, I think, is tend to approach. If you want to be with somebody that wants to beat you or hit you, I mean, it's personal choice. But when you bring the government into it, when you allow a third party to come in and make decisions based on what your decisions were, right off the bat, it just doesn't pass smell test. It's not good. Okay, I don't want the government in my business. You shouldn't want the government in your business, period. No ifs, ands, or buts. I've told many of people when I showed up as a cop, look, if you get me involved in this, there's certain things I got to do. Are you sure you want me here, or you want me just to leave and say you're going to handle it yourself? No, I'm tired, I want you. Okay, well, somebody's going to jail. Oh, well, never mind. Well, you know, now it's too late, because now I know if I leave, you're going to go, well, he told me he's going to take him to jail. That's the only reason I told him to leave. So, this domestic violence, and I'm addressing it more toward women, because guys just don't get the same treatment. I mean, the courts are skewed. Women, you know, you can say what you want, it's skewed. So the women get the benefit of doubt. They're going to get the restraining orders. They're able to say I was scared. They're able to play the victim. A guy goes in there, he'll be cut, burned, stabbed, everything, and it's like, you know what, you picked her, tough luck. Man up, either get out or stay with her, it's your choice. But a woman, because of all the women groups and everything out there that are protecting poor victimless women, which started on a good idea. There were a lot of women that were trapped and didn't have any resources years ago. Back in the 60s and 70s, I mean, that's domestic violence was kind of like, hey, you know, if you guys have something in your house, it's your business, we're going to stay. That's when the government kind of wanted to stay out of your business. Government didn't want to get involved. Cops would show up and go, that's between husband and wife, I'm out of here, it's none of my business. Well, over time, of course, people abused it, and then cops didn't do nothing, and people got killed, and then people had to answer on why they were killed, and next thing you know, now there's laws. And the laws can go overboard and make the situation worse. If you're a woman in a domestic violence situation, 9 times out of 10, you picked them and you stay. Now, I know there's going to be a lot of women, probably get some women group out here telling me, how dare you, these poor women don't have the ability, they have kids, it's not their fault. Nothing's ever the woman's fault. Look. If you pick a guy and you don't know that he's not going to beat you, or the first time he does hit you or beat you, you don't get out, or you choose to have a baby with this kid after he beats you, or you choose to stay with him and have 2 more babies, and then all of a sudden you want some cop to come in and go, help me, I'm a domestic violence victim. All right, whatever. All right, and I'm sure I'm going to get plenty of hate mail because I'm speaking the truth. You know, and when you tell a fool the truth, they get mad at you. When you tell a wise person that, they kind of evaluate it and go, you know, maybe I need to hear that. So, Obviously, there's tools in place, and cops can help you, and the courts can help you, and there's plenty of women's advocacy groups out there that can help you if you're in a domestic violence situation. The person that asked me to do something on domestic violence, I mean, I'm thinking that if the camera's moving, the chicken somehow decided to eat all the bugs around the camera, so if they start pecking on it or moving it, it'll move. So, and I don't know if you're hearing them pecking around there. So, domestic violence, if you're in it and you call a cop, there's certain things that a cop has to do. He has to report things that if there's violence or if he can see something, he's going to arrest somebody. We can't leave the assaulter, if it's a male. If it's female, we tell the guy to get out and move on. If it's a female, double standards, even though everybody's equal. I'm being sarcastic. If it's a woman, we have to arrest the person that did the domestic violence. So we take that person. Hi, Mookie. What are you doing? What are you doing, little Mookie? What are you doing? Hi. Say hi, Mookie. Hi, Mookie. This is not abuse. He likes his little tail pulled. So if you call a cop, he's got certain options. He can arrest the guy. He can say there's no physical proof. He can give you these little handouts that we're required to hand out saying call this group, call this number. If you want help, if you need free legal, if you need a place to stay overnight, here's a shelter. We can give you a whole bunch of suggestions, but the only thing a cop can do in domestic violence, and I'm not sure with the person that wrote this question whether they were asking what does a cop do, what's he supposed to do, what can he do, or how does a woman get out of it. So it's a pretty broad topic, but from a cop perspective, when I show up, if you got marks and I can show there's physical proof that he hit you, he's going to jail. Even if, and this happened a lot of times, women will slap themselves and they'll be red, the guy goes to jail. The woman will slam their hand in the door and say, he slammed the door on my hand and hurt it. And the guy will be like, dude, I was standing here, and I believe the guy, because after 2 minutes with the woman of her nagging in his face and nipping at him, she's just provoking the whole thing. Now, obviously, no amount of provoking should have a guy hitting a woman. A guy should leave and he ought to stay out of it. And the guys pick the women and the women pick the guys. It's a cycle. They go back. They have kids. They're attracted. Their next guy is the same type of guy that they picked that beat them before. So from a cop perspective, if we see marks, the guy's going to jail. And is he going, and then we get pissed off. Well, I didn't want him to go to jail. Well, now he can't go to work. Now we can't pay our bills. Now we're going to get evicted, and it's all because the cop arrested him. Well, when you call the government in, things are going to happen that you don't like and you can't control. Am I saying don't call the cops if you're getting beaten? No, but if you're getting beaten, if you call the cops, you need to not be in that situation again, because every time a cop comes back to domestic violence, their level of BS is lower each time, and it's like, I don't really care. You can blame it on the cops, you can blame it on the big, mad, mean cops. I know female cops that do the same thing. They get tired of it. Female cops are kind of worse than guys because they don't want to hear the women crying. Female cops tend to be a little bit more, stand on your own and you get what you get. So they don't have as much patience as the guys. The guys see a woman crying, it's kind of like, oh, I got to help her. But a woman be like, I don't care if she's crying, it's her fault, blah, blah. So, if you're in a domestic violence situation, look, you got to call somebody. There's plenty of groups out there that you can call. They'll give you advice. The flip side to their advice, they use the courts. They use the government. They're going to tell you to use key phrases like, I'm in fear of my life. I'm scared. He's beat me before. He's threatened to hurt my kids. He's beat my kid. They're going to tell you all the key words to use so you can get an emergency protective order. You'll get immediate custody of the kids. If I go there and there's kids involved and the woman's the thing, I can give an immediate protective order right there on the scene. I can fill it out, issue it, and they have custody. I can call a judge, and the judge say, yeah, issue it, and it'll be done. So it's technically a court order that you have custody of the kids. And then we arrest the dad, or we make him leave. Or if it's just verbal, we'll tell the guy to go stay somewhere for the night, stay in a hotel. He'll usually end up coming back. We'll end up being there again. So domestic violence as a whole is, look, people make choices. And the guy makes a choice to stay, and if the guy wants to blame the woman that she provoked me and she hits me all the time and she's abusive, well, you know what? You stay. Tough luck. She doesn't go to jail when she beats you. You go to jail when you touch her. So You know, if you stay, then I ain't got a whole bunch of pity for you. And for the woman that cries, you know, sky's falling every time we come over there on how bad he is, then as soon as we take him to jail, she's saying, I love you and I'll bail you out. Well, cops just don't want to deal with that. So if you get the cops involved, know that things are going to happen you can't control. If you want things to happen, you want to move, have a plan, get some help, go to one of these advocacy groups. They'll tell you how to set up a shelter, how to set up for getting, you know, in case you're not going to have any money because the guy's probably going to cut you off because he's in jail and he might lose his job and you're screwing him over. The other thing they'll always tell you is if you say you hit him, you know, oh, I'm worried he's got guns. Okay, so he has guns, big deal. Well, he's dangerous. If he hits me out, I don't want him to have guns because they know a guy that has guns probably likes his guns. So that's their big cue to really stick it to the guy. I'll show you. I'll tell him you hit me. I'll get a domestic violence order and you can't have your guns. How about that? So, of course, all the laws are skewed to men. They're all designed to punish the men. Women have no accountability. It's never their fault. They're only the victim, and it's only the big bad guy. So, if I sound like, you know, I don't have a lot of sympathy for domestic violence, in a case that it's one time or the first time or it's a new relationship and it's never happened before, I'm all for locking a guy up and tying him up. I don't like a guy beating a woman. However, I don't like taking guys to jail because he pushed some woman that was pushing him and scratching him and doing all this, and all of a sudden he pushed back or he tried to leave, she grabbed him and he elbowed her trying to get her off him, and all of a sudden he's going to jail because he was trying to leave. So domestic violence, that's my spiel. If you want more details on any topic on it, go ahead and put it in the comments, and if you want me to address another vehicle or another video, I will. But domestic violence, obviously it's serious. Obviously you don't want to stay in there. Obviously if it escalates, you're putting yourself in danger. You're putting your kids in danger. You ought to get out of the first chance you get. You shouldn't put up with it. It ought to be a deal breaker. It's over. Guys shouldn't put their hands on women, period. However, cops have put their hands on women many times because when we go to scenes and women are fighting for us, guess what? We don't have time to talk it out with a woman because she's a woman. So, you know, if she wants to get physical with a cop, the government, it's okay for us to hit women. There's nothing in the government code, there's nothing in the cop code that you can't hit a woman. If you're in the academy and you go, well, I would never hit a woman, your ass is going to be bounced because they'll be like, well, you know what, you ain't going to make it. Because if you go to a place with 4 women and they all jump on you and you don't help your partner and you let them get your gun and they end up shooting your partner because you didn't want to hit a woman, well, then you're a liability. You're not there to control the scene and to maintain control over the scene and protect yourself and your partner and control the scene. So, you know, there's issues with that. But so does men ever hit a woman? There's people that'll say it should never happen. Well, you know what? As a cop, if you show up and you got a gun, you got a baton, and you got a partner you're supposed to watch on, and he's dealing with a guy, and this guy may take him, you've got to be available. And if a woman jumps on you, well, you got to hit her to get her off you. Well, you know what? You shouldn't be jumping on cops. Now, is that a double standard? Yeah, sure it is. I mean, I'm not all in the favor of you should never hit a woman. I don't think guys ought to be hitting women to put yourself in a position. But there's some situations to where a guy may have to hit a woman. There's women on crank, there's women on drugs, there's women that are crazy. I mean, it's like, should you never shoot a woman? Okay, you can't ever hit a woman, but it's okay to shoot her. If she comes at you with a knife, can I hit her? No, you can shoot her, but don't hit her. Guy never hits a woman. There's never a reason. That's what everybody will tell you. There's never an excuse for a guy to hit a woman. Really? She's coming at you with a knife, a bat, or a gun, and you can't hit her? You can shoot her, but you can't hit her? Freaking ridiculous, double standard crap. All right, that's my spiel on domestic violence. And my next video is going to be on the Your War Stick. All right, we'll end that there.